What's up YouTube, Card Boss here, where we talk about cards, money, investing. Hope you guys doing well, and if you guys are into Marvel PMG, I hope that you guys stayed up last night to actually catch all the fire that happened during the Goldin auctions. And when I mean fire, it's kind of like a lukewarm flame because it was a complete bloodbath in my opinion. Right, I'm just gonna take you through some of the key cards that actually happened and what transpired and what I think that the prices were actually way off compared to some of the expectations from the general public. Ginger Man Cards just uploaded his video, complete coverage on entire listings that went down last night. I'm not going to go through every single card. You can do check out his video for complete coverage, and I'll also be talking a bit about what's going to happen tonight. Right, so that's day 2, I would say. So this is going to be a day 1 recap, and let's get right to it. So first up is the Wolverine, all right, 2013 PMG Blue BGS 8.5. This is actually owned by my buddy Charles, aka Stacking Gems, all right, and it closed for $20,000, $20,700 after buyer's premium. What do you think about this? A bit low, I would think, a bit disappointing. I would, people were expecting that Wolverine would just kind of like just bust open the sort of pricing, right? But again, it has been hovering around the 20 to 25k range, and I would think that maybe this BGS 8.5 kind of hurt the Wolverine a bit because most people are completing the PMG sets, are actually going for PSA sets. Would Stacking Gems would have done a bit better if this actually crossed to say a PSA 8? Probably marginally, probably a couple $1,000s extra, but wouldn't be that far off, right? And so I don't think he got really punished, but perhaps the general expectation for this Wolverine to do actually much better than what it did at just $20,700. Moving down actually, Dr. Strange, PSA 8 2013 Fail Retro Red. Of course, Dr. Strange is getting a lot of limelight because of his upcoming movie, so definitely there's a lot of activity in all his cards. So closing at 3,600, which is pretty alright, I think, a bit higher than what most people pay for a PMG Red, but in this case it's Dr. Strange, so there's a general exception to him, right? So there's a low-key PSA 5 for green. I'm not going to talk much about that. This is the one I wanted to focus on. So I spoke about this in my quick fire yesterday, whereby Captain America PSA 8 in Goldin as well, in late February, ended for $88,000. So obviously this is a far cry from that amount. Whether or not that 88,000 was an actual sale, I would believe so, but how far things have fallen, right? So we've already saw writing on the wall, whereby I think the next Captain America, I think it was the BGS 8.5 that actually sold for half the price, and this one has come back down to 22k. What's surprising is this amount, 22k, is actually higher than the Wolverine that we saw earlier. So perhaps this is somebody adding this Captain America to the PC, and in my opinion, this could be perhaps the final time that we'll see Cap in the PSA 8 crossing above the 20k mark. So just pen that down. Moving down, we've got a couple of PMG red here. So this is how PSA 7. This is the one I talked about as well in my quickfire. Human Torch PSA 8 green, right? It closed at just a nudge above 5,000. So I said that this could actually go swing pretty wildly, right? Either it was going to end at 5,000 or swing as high as 15,000. So obviously it ended on the low scale, which I think in my opinion is a pretty good buy for somebody right there, right? So it's a out of 10 Fantastic Four. There is a lot of upside. Fantastic Four, it's a PMG green, so this is probably come back, could be a steal, right? Miss Marvel PSA 7. Let's moving on. So this one here, PSA 8 PMG Blue 1,800. It's like less than $2,000. So I think we talked about this about a couple of weeks ago, right? Any 2013 PMG Blue in a PSA 8 holder, you wouldn't see anything for less than $3,000, right? So we already saw some of the Probstein auction, I think ended about a week plus ago. No doubt they're mostly in the BGS holders. Again, they were BGS 8.5, which normally translate to a PSA 8, and those also ended around the sub $2,000 range. So this Phoenix is no exception. So it's kind of like close, I would say, the current prices, but again, far lower than what we actually expect from a PSA 8 2013 PMG Blue. Hulk, okay, main character, PSA 7 closing at 6,600, pretty decent overall pricing, I think. Scarlet Witch, this is the one I talked about as well in my quickfire, PSA 9. This was one ended a bit lower than I thought, right? So because Scarlet Witch appearing in the Multiverse of Madness, and PSA 9, generally I would think that would command some sort of premium. So this one, even though it's a second appearance of Scarlet Witch on the PMG lineup, but 2400, that's pretty low. So again, I think that the number of people watching the auctions or actually participating in auctions are perhaps on the lower side last night. Right, moving down. So this is the big one that everybody was talking about, the Spider-Man PMG Blue 2013, right? So this ended at $58,000, which is, I think, is a tad below the last one that ended close about 60+ K after buyer's premium. Of course, way lower than the one that ended near January by Steve Aoki for about 120K. I was at 100K, right? But that was in the BGS 9 holder. So again, PSA 8 versus BGS 9, is it worth the uptick to the BGS 9? Perhaps for Spider-Man's case, yes, but not something that I would think that would create such a big difference. Moving down, 2017 PMG Green, right? Spider-Man as well, PSA 8, $80,400. This one's a bit surprising, right? But again, PMG Greens doesn't come as often, and PSA 8 seems to be like a pretty fair grade for 2017, considered a thicker cardstock. Coming down. Alright, this is another surprising on 2017 as well, PSA 7 Spider-Woman, right? $5,520. Now, this seems high for the reasons that I will talk about later, right? But so just pen this down first, but if you compare to previous, like Luke Cage PSA 8, right, closing at like less than half the price. So you would say Spider-Man is slightly better in terms of character, but one grade lower, but you got to compare with the next one that's going to show you later. So moving on, like again, Venom, right? So, or Agent Venom, not so popular, but more than half the price. Next up. Yep, so we got Vision here, PSA 8 2015, right? So again, not a big price tag, right, for PMG Green, which is very surprising. Just $2,000 for PSA 8. At one point everybody is thinking that PSA 8's getting that nod above Raw, but first appearance of Vision in the PMG lineup, it's PMG Green, right, and it's just $2,000. Is it a steal or is it just got forgotten, right? So that's pretty surprising in my opinion. Alright, this one's something that close to my heart, right? So Miles Morales PMG bronze, right? This is a number out of 199 in the SGC 9 holder. I think for those who follow my channel, I actually bought a PSA 9 Miles bronze for $3,700 from PWCC auction. Now, of course, many people felt that I overpaid. I think I overpaid a fair bit. It's just to complete the mini rainbow that I had. But this one ending at just under $1,000, right? Which is roughly about a raw price that Miles has been trading for, $840. And this is a SGC 9, which normally would translate to about, at least a PSA 8. But even at a PSA 8, right, that should command at least about $1,100 or $1,200. So it's pretty surprising that this ended way lower. Next up, we have Storm, Iron Man. Again, another Iron Man SGC 9 ended at $450. I think Raw also closed at about $400. So having SGC 9 closing at just at a Raw price is pretty surprising. No, does it mean that the PMG prices are coming down, or is that there's just no premium attached to SGC even if it's a SGC 9? Cool. Next up, this is a huge one, right? So 2015 retro boxes, 6 boxes, and of course this is not as crazy as the 6 2013 boxes that we saw in the last auction that closed for about $256,000. This one here, 51K, right? When you divide by the 6 boxes, right, it's actually pretty low, right? If you think about it, it's only like what, less than $10,000, like $78,000 each, right? Even less than that, 7,000 plus. So that's pretty low considering that some of the boxes were trying to retail at about $15,000 each for 2015. So goodbye, or maybe somebody missed out again, not sure, right? More stuff here, PSA 7s. I'm not going to talk much about PSA 7s, but really they underperform, right? So only like $1,200 for the first appearance of Star-Lord, first appearance of Namor, first appearance of She-Hulk in PSA 6. So again, Vision, first appearance of Vision, $1,200, right? Alright, Mystique, in my quickfire as well. So I was trying to predict whether or not would this end close to the one that just ended on auction as a raw for about 2200. So this again PSA 7 underperformed, and that actually kind of answer a question if this was actually, you know, most people are monitoring this Mystique, whereby people are saying that PMGs, right, PSA 7s normally equate to a price of a raw. So this obviously is not the case, or maybe the raw, I didn't have a good look at that, a raw that sold for 2200, but perhaps this particular raw had a chance for a better grade, you know, PSA 8 or higher, and therefore a premium. But certainly a 2013 PMG blue, you know, 1500 PSA 7, that's pretty surprising. Another underwhelming performance, right? Thor, right? SGC9 1400. Oh man, smaller character. Captain America PSA 7. This one's a bit surprising, right? 1200. You may think this is low, but there was a PSA 9 that actually ended at 1600, I think just about a week plus ago. So this one's a bit on the higher side, but again, you know, you kind of associate Captain America and PMG would be naturally associated, whereby prices should be at least $2,000, but this is not the case. But in this case, it's still a bit higher than what it happened for the PSA 9 that recently sold. Okay, this is the one that has a big, I wouldn't say controversy, but a big hot topic, right? Whereby Steve Aoki actually showed on his Instagram he had a complete set that he purchased for $200,000, and this one only ended for $60,000 after buyer's premium. No doubt that the Spider-Man, the key card in this set, is only a PSA 7. I do not know what's the grade on his Spider-Man. Okay, but obviously you got to be pretty strong in order for the set to be worth about $200,000. You know, at least PSA 8 to PSA 9, right? But then again, I think most people, even Ginger Man cards, agreed that this somebody got an extremely good deal here for $60,000 on a complete set of this 2015 PMG red set. Another Thor here, okay, closed at 1500, not much there. This is the one that I want to talk about, right? PMG green 2015 Doctor Strange, right? And we know all about Doctor Strange in the upcoming movie. Ended only at 8,400 after buyer's premium. And we compare to the earlier mentioned Spider-Woman, you know, 2017 PSA, was it 7? Yep, PSA. Let me have a look again. Spider-Woman's a PSA 7 that ended at 5,500 versus 8,400 for Doctor Strange. So something didn't really go right here, right? I think I'm going to give kind of like my closing thoughts on what's been happening here, looking at all these past trends, all these trending prices, right? So let's move on to a couple others first. So going down here, we got here Wolverine 450, nothing much to talk about. Deadpool here was a PSA 5, so $2,000, a bit under from what I expected. I thought that this was close at least for about 3,500, considering this is a Deadpool, and quite rare that the PMG Blue Deadpool comes about, even though this is a PSA 5 holder. Alright, so nothing much here coming down, just a few minor characters here, no big stuff. Doctor Strange 3,900 PSA 7, right? So when you look at that PSA 8 PMG red, that's in two times the number of population here, just closing just $300 lesser than the PMG blue, no doubt one grade higher. So maybe it's a set thing, alright. I don't think it's a color matching thing. When Doctor Strange PMGs look good in red or blue, so a bit weird for this one. More stuff here. Again, I talked about this when we talked about the Phoenix earlier, right? So PMG blue 2013, that's PSA 8, ending less than $2,000. That's just unthinkable, just like 2 or 3 weeks ago, whereby it should command at least $2,000 to $3,000. Random House Morales here. So let's move on here. Human Torch PSA 7 again, right? Talk about the earlier Marvel girl, whereby it's was it Jean Grey? Yep. So Jean Grey 1,500 for PSA 8 and Human Torch PSA 7 at 1,400. Not. Alright, so here's a couple of the rare ones. Right? 1/1 2015 Red Skull, right, under 16,000. Of course, there's not much comps on this one considering it's a 1/1, but so it's a big amount, a big dollar amount. People didn't really like the picture, obviously, but it's a 1/1. So I'm not gonna have much comments on the 1/1, right? It's still a big dollar amount for a particular card. So moving on here, Luke Cage Nova recently had his series announced. Electra, Daredevil, Dr. Octopus as well. I think this is a 1-of-1 dead stripe. So 14,000 again, PSA 8. Not much for me to say on this one, 1-of-1 as well. So big dollar price for something that's quite rare. It's kind of expected, right? Here we got two back-to-back Icemans. Look at this, PSA 7.5 for, sorry about that, 1200, and PSA 7 blue, which is half the number of population out of 50. It's only going for 1400. Again, prices, just trending less than the $2,000 range for PMG blues. That's just surprising, right? More here, more, right? And there is a consistent trend to this, right, which I'll touch on later, and this is much later already. Yep, so this is, yep, that's the next one. All right, let's talk about what's happening tonight. Most of the big stuff actually ended already, like Spider-Man and Wolverines were the main focus for last night, and tonight, of course, we got this Jambalaya Venom in a BGS 9.5. This is a quad plus, right? 3 9.5s and 110, and PSA 10 in PWCC ended, I think, about last week, I believe, for about 7,800. So I would expect that this one probably trend around there as well. Like Peter Parker Spider-Man 2017 Flare Ultra Royal Foil in the SGC 10, right? So this is at 2,500. The raw price is also about like 2,500, 2,600. So this, I believe, won't end too far off from this. My prediction for tomorrow will be roughly about $3,500 to $4,000 on this Spider-Man. Got Wolverines, a couple of Wolverines PMGs here. Some Venoms, Black Panther 8.5, 2,200. This is first appearance of Black Panther on the PMG lineup. So I think that PSA 8 Black Panther actually perhaps was ending around the $8,000 range at one point in time when during the peak. So it'd be quite interesting to see where does this land. I predict it's probably around the 4,500 kind of range, looking at how things have been going in last night's auction. One better Spectre Gem. We got a Thor here 2013 at $4,000. This is perhaps going to land roughly around where Hulk actually landed previously, the PSA 7 Hulk Blue, probably around the 6,600 to 6,800 range. Right, Thanos Spider-Man here 2017 Peter Parker in a BGS 8, 4,200 at the moment. My guess is probably going to go around close about $7,000 or $8,000 for this one. Okay, so this is one of the two chase cards, I think, for Goldin tonight, right? So this is a Galactus BGS 9, beautiful looking slab, right? And this is going at 2,500 right now. I think that this is probably gonna go close to about $8,000 to $9,000, my guess, right? I would be shocked if it went for higher, but I would be even surprised if it actually went for lower than that amount. Cool. Next up, just got a couple more Miles Morales Royal Foil here. A PSA 9 Miles Morales Royal Foil close, I think sold on eBay for about 3,500. So this one, no exceptions. No, I would expect roughly about that $3,500 mark as well. Captain America here, Dr. Strange. So this one's be interesting to see how it closed compared to the green yesterday. Based on this PSA 8, it should be around just only ending around like 3,500, but I doubt so. I think it's definitely going to fetch more than 3,500 for this Doctor Strange. And the final big card, I think, in tonight's listing would be this Black Widow, currently listed at $6,000, PSA 10, and it's Pop 1. This one will go bonkers, right? I think maybe 15, 18, right? So this is the one that people will chase for tonight. Spider-Man here, okay, after a while I think that we kind of like see some patterns here. And lastly, Ghost Rider PSA 9. So one thing you notice about the auctions that's ending tonight, we got a couple of big ones in better grades, right? So we got a Black Widow in the PSA 10, we got a Ghost Rider in PSA 9, right? We got two SGC 10s here for the Royal Foils, Galactus in the BGS 9, Thor in the BGS 9. So somewhat better grades than last night, right? And I think that, I'm not sure whether is that by design or is that based on the sellers, but I do have my closing thoughts on this auction here, right? I think there are some speculation. There are just a couple of sellers here. I don't think it's limited to one or two, maybe just about a handful of sellers. And I would think that based on yesterday's auctions, most of these PMGs, especially on the lower grades, PSA 5s to the PSA 7s, all coming from one seller, just basically just cleaning up his portfolio, right? And I'm not sure whether or not in terms of timing he has chose the right timing to put everything up. I would assume that he may have bought these stuff during the climb, right? I would say that during the end of 2021, early 2022, and if that was the case, right, he'd probably be taking a lot of hits on this one, right? Unfortunately, that's the case, right? Especially these PMG blues. I think that having them close at under $2,000 for a PSA 7 minimum, it's pretty much unheard of. You talk about even like Storm here, right? 1800. I would think that, you know, this at one point in time this was easily like a $3,500 card. So if you had bought during those peak times, we have taken significant losses. And these greens, right, you know, at one point I think these greens were not fetching for anything less than $5,000, and we're talking about like even like 2013, right? You know, even a small character like Luke Cage, a PSA 8 holder, $2,000. That's like pre-spike prices, right? So amazing stuff. Of course, the bigger stuff held some value, right? The Spider-Man's PSA 8 2017, of course this one as well. You know, not the crazy price we saw, but definitely held value. But going forward to tonight, the one to watch, like I said, Venom's gonna close at pretty much expected at about $7,000. I'll be surprised if it went for more. And I think that we'll be looking at spotlight will be on the Galactus and of course on the Black Widow. Alright, that's all I have. Pretty long video of this one here. This Goldin's really gonna change the market, right? So I think that what I anticipated before, that the PMG market will kind of be softer, not on an overall basis, but I think that people who are kind of like had the mad rush of buying PMGs, especially on the lower grades, because they are a bit more affordable compared to the ones that's in PSA 8s or PSA 9s, right, are starting to feel the burn a bit, especially having all these Goldin prices as the current comps, right? So that's going to really pull down the market value, especially on the lower grade stuff. But on the flip side, when you look at the higher grade stuff, right, so you notice that there is not many PSA 9s here, right? In fact, if you talk about 2013 PSA 8s, right, it was just all on the lower end characters. We talk about Jean Grey, you talk about Human Torch, and then we talk about as well as Phoenix, right? None of the big characters. Yes, there was Captain America, but even that $22,000, you know, I would think that that's probably a fair price for the Captain America, you know, not the 88K craziness that we saw in late February, right? So I would say that there is a consistent pattern here whereby there is all the lower grade stuff, okay, which is something important to think about when you're further investing, because that's what I think that most people should gear for, right? To go for investment grade quality cards, right? In this case, the PMGs, right? So most people are, I would say, in the process of consolidation, right? They realize that, you know, that they were just aggressively picking up PMGs, doesn't matter PSA 7, PSA 8s at whatever prices, and now in the process of consolidating to get better quality PMGs, and those are the ones that's likely going to be highly sought after beyond this Goldin auction. Alright, looking forward to see what's up on this one. Maybe I'll do another recap video. Let's see how does this go. Alright, do catch me for that one. Like and subscribe. And thanks for watching, guys. Cowboys out.